What happens when a wild monkey, scarred by human cruelty, crosses paths with a fearless girl in the heart of an American forest? This isn't just a story of survival. It's a tale of unexpected friendship, betrayal, and redemption. Stay till the end. You won't believe how this monkey changed everything. If you love emotional animal stories with a twist, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and become part of our wild storytelling journey. Your support keeps these stories alive. Deep inside the dense woods of Oregon, where fog wraps the trees and silence whispers secrets, lived a monkey unlike any other. He was not part of any troop. He roamed alone. He had no name, no family, and no trust left for humans. Years ago, humans trapped him, caged him, poked and prodded him in a lab far from the wild. The pain had faded, but the memories burned. One day he escaped, breaking wires, biting hands, running into the wild like a shadow disappearing into mist. Since then, he avoided all humans. He watched them from trees. He remembered their faces. He had seen hunters laughing after killing a baby deer. He had seen hikers throwing trash into the river. Humans were the enemy. But then she came. Her name was Lena. She wasn't loud. She didn't carry weapons. She walked the woods like she belonged, her eyes wide with wonder, not fear. Lena was studying forest sounds for her university project. She had no idea she was being watched by angry, judging eyes. The monkey sat high above, clutching a branch, ready to scare her off. But Lena did something strange. She sat on a fallen log, pulled out her recorder, and began singing softly to the trees. It wasn't a human song. It was soft, wordless, like the wind's hum. The monkey paused. No one had ever sung in the forest before. He climbed down, slowly, curious but cautious. A twig snapped. Lena looked up, and their eyes met. She didn't scream. She didn't reach for a stick. She just smiled. The monkey froze. This smile, it was nothing like the grins of the scientists. It was soft, curious, open. He turned and vanished, but he didn't go far. Something in that smile held him back. That night, he watched her from the trees as she set up her tent. She lit a small fire, wrote notes in her journal, and looked up at the stars. He had seen many campers before, but no one ever looked at the forest the way she did. He felt conflicted. Was this girl different, or was it just another trap? The next morning, the monkey awoke to a strange sound. Crunching. Slow, careful footsteps on the forest floor. Lena was back, but this time, she wasn't alone. Two men followed behind her, holding cameras and gear. "Just a quick shoot," one of them said. "This place is perfect for viral content." Lena looked uncomfortable. "I told you, no noise. This forest isn't a playground," she replied. But the men laughed. They stepped over roots, broke branches, tossed a can aside. The monkey watched from the shadows, his fury boiling. He didn't care about Lena anymore. Humans had returned, loud, careless, and cruel. He climbed down silently, his black eyes fixed on the intruders. Lena moved ahead of the group, searching for a quiet spot. The two men stayed behind, setting up their tripod near a tree with a hollow where the monkey slept every night. They didn't see the warning scratches on the bark. They didn't care. One of them reached inside the hollow, pulling out the monkey's bundle, a collection of berries, leaves, and shiny stones. "Ha! Look at this junk. Maybe a raccoon's treasure box." He threw it aside and laughed. That was the final line. The monkey leapt from the branches, shrieking. He landed on the tripod, knocking it down. The men screamed. One grabbed a stick. "It's a wild monkey. Hit it before it attacks." Lena heard the noise and came running. She saw the monkey standing between the men and the tree, teeth bared. The stick was raised. Without thinking, she rushed forward and pushed the man back. "Stop!" she shouted. "He's not attacking! You're in his home!" Everyone froze. The monkey stared at Lena. She had just defended him. No one had ever done that. The stick dropped to the ground. Lena turned to the monkey. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "This wasn't supposed to happen." The monkey didn't move. His heart raced. For the first time, a human had protected him, not out of fear, but care. He turned and disappeared into the woods. But that night, something changed. He didn't sleep in his hollow. He watched Lena's camp again, Not out of hatred, but out of curiosity. Maybe, just maybe, not all humans were the same. That night, the wind howled through the trees. Clouds swallowed the moon. Rain began to fall, slow at first, then angry and wild. Lena zipped up her tent, clutching her journal tight. Her flashlight flickered. Her radio lost signal. The two men had already left before sunset, angry and embarrassed. She was alone. In the distance, a loud crack echoed. A tree branch had snapped, then another. Lena peeked outside and saw the creek nearby had flooded. Water rushed across the trail she came from. She stepped out with her boots, flashlight in hand, to check the path. But the ground was slick. Her foot slipped. She tumbled down a muddy slope, sliding until her leg slammed into a rock. She screamed, the sound lost in thunder. She couldn't stand. Rain poured. Her flashlight flew from her hand and vanished in the dark. She was alone, hurt, and deep in the woods, in a forest that didn't forgive the careless. High in the trees, the monkey watched. He had seen the fall. He had heard the cry. Part of him wanted to turn away. She was human. Humans brought pain. But then he remembered the way she had stood between him and the stick. The way she had whispered, "I'm sorry." No human had ever said that to him. He gripped the branch tighter. Below, Lena groaned, clutching her leg. Her eyes were wide with fear. The monkey moved, quick, silent, determined. He dropped from the trees near her, just close enough for her to see him. She gasped. You, again?" The monkey didn't hiss. He didn't run. Instead, he picked up her flashlight from a bush nearby and placed it beside her. Then, without warning, he vanished again into the darkness. But Lena knew he hadn't left for good. 10 minutes later, he returned, dragging something, a long, thick vine. He threw it toward her, then motioned toward the slope. She blinked, stunned. Was he helping her? Using the vine, Lena slowly pulled herself up, wincing with pain. The monkey stayed close, climbing from tree to tree, guiding her with soft grunts. Through storm, darkness, and pain, a bond began to grow. And for the first time, in the heart of a wild forest, a monkey who hated humans was saving one. Lena opened her eyes slowly. A dim, golden light flickered above. She wasn't in her tent. She wasn't even on the trail. She was lying on a bed of dry leaves inside a shallow cave. The rain outside still whispered, but the storm had passed. Her ankle throbbed, but it was wrapped tightly with forest vines, carefully, skillfully. And beside her was the monkey. He was sitting near the entrance, watching her, eyes calm but alert. For the first time, Lena looked at him not as a wild animal, but as a soul, scarred, alert, and intelligent. "You brought me here?" she whispered. The monkey didn't answer, but he didn't leave either. He stood up, walked to the back of the cave, and returned with a few berries and a piece of bark holding rainwater. He placed them in front of her. Lena's eyes welled up. No human had ever shown her such quiet kindness and such silence, let alone a monkey. She sat up slowly, ate the berries, and sipped the water. Then she noticed the walls. The cave wasn't empty. Carved deep into the stone were scratch marks, rough drawings, old and angry. Cages, faces, needles, eyes. One image repeated, a small monkey with wires on its head. Lena froze. Her heart broke. She turned to him. "You were a lab monkey," she whispered. The monkey looked away. Lena placed her hand over one of the carvings. "I'm so sorry," she said again, softly, tears sliding down her cheek. The monkey didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. It wasn't pity, it was respect. That night, neither of them spoke, but something unspoken passed between them. Trust, built not with words, but with actions, pain, and survival. The next morning, the forest was silent. Lena could barely stand, but the monkey helped her walk, nudging her gently when she slipped. He led her to a trail she hadn't seen before, a hidden path covered with ferns and moss. It led straight back to the main road. Civilization. Lena stopped and looked back. The monkey stood at the edge of the trees. He didn't follow. This was goodbye. She raised her hand. He tilted his head. And just like that, he disappeared into the forest once more. But he was not the same monkey anymore. And she was not the same girl. 6 months later, the forest was quieter than Lena remembered. Wilder, greener, stronger. She stood at the edge of the same trail where it had all begun. The path that had taken her deep into the woods and deeper into a life-changing truth. But this time, she wasn't carrying a camera. No notes, no crew. Only a backpack filled with tools, seeds, and a folded banner that read, "Wild Haven, a protected sanctuary begins here." She had quit her job, left the channel, and used every dollar she had to buy part of the forest from the government. Not to build, not to film, but to give it back. To those who needed it most. The monkey had never left her thoughts. Not a day passed that she didn't remember the way he had looked at her. Not with fear, but with forgiveness. She walked the familiar path. Every rustle made her turn. Every bird call gave her hope. But there was no sign of him. She reached the cave by sundown. The leaves were scattered, the cave cold. The wall carvings were still there, weathered but unforgotten. Lena pulled out a small wooden plaque and placed it at the entrance. It read, "To the one who showed me the wild has a heart. This is your home again." As she stood to leave, a twig snapped behind her. She turned slowly. There, half hidden behind a tree, were two dark eyes. Watching. It was him. The monkey stepped forward, not with fear, but with recognition. His fur had grown thicker, his posture stronger, but the eyes were the same. He stopped a few feet away. Lena smiled. "I kept my promise," she said softly. The monkey blinked. Then, slowly, he stepped forward. He reached out, touched the plaque gently, and for the first time ever, he let her come close. Lena knelt beside him. In the silence of the forest, where pain had once lived, a new bond had been born. Not between a human and an animal, but between two survivors, two hearts, one story. You won't believe what happened when a wild monkey and a human crossed paths deep inside an untouched forest. What began as hatred ended in something powerful. Stay with us till the end, because this true story might just change how you see the wild forever. And hey, if you love meaningful stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Bestscape, where nature meets heart.